Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and this week we have an incredible variety for you guys and girls, and I know I say that every single week, but hear me out. We have a Patek 5039J, which is incredible, and we have a watch that literally its only purpose is to tell the tide from the 1970s. It doesn't get any more varied than this, and this is what I love about what we're able to do here at Kibble Watches. A lot of dealers are restricted by their market and what they've sort of tailored to. We have sort of blown all that completely out of the water and said we are not going to be restricted and refined. And this drop, this is the epitome of it. It shows it down to its core of what we want to be able to achieve here at Kibble Watches. So yeah, really exciting one this week. I hope you all enjoyed the state of the collection as well. It was recorded quite a while ago. It took me a while to get around to editing it because we've been so busy. So I do apologise. A lot has actually changed. I've got rid of a couple of watches. My wife has also sold a couple of watches or is in the process, so they're going to be on the website. A couple of those amazing Witten hours. Obviously not the chronograph, that's staying. But yeah, unfortunately some of hers is being sold because she acquired a Black Bay 58 Blue, or should I say we acquired a 58 Blue, and she has taken it. So really cool watch. So what is on wrist? I am wearing my Squale. Yes, this one is now mine. I have taken it. Absolutely awesome. I think this just looks so incredible, and I'll put some photos of it on screen. This is the 1545 in a sort of grey blue colour, and the retail of this one is 795, which blows my mind because it's Solita movement, very well built, great bracelet, and just a damn good looking design with sort of like subtle faux patina. Yeah, I couldn't help myself. So as you guys and girls probably know, we are now the official, or a official, London stockist of Squale. So if there's a Squale you'd like, get in contact. If we haven't got it in stock, because we're only stocking about 10 watches, or 10 SKUs I should say, don't worry, we can get you the watch. So, you know, come through us. It'll be great to be able to provide you the Squale you want. But yeah, go check them out on the website. Now, as of the time of this video going live, the Saturday, I will be on holiday. I'll be having a short break with my family. We're just going to Wales, nowhere too crazy, and we're going to be in a very nice cottage, just relaxing. So business will continue as normal. Watches will still be shipped out. Meetings will still be held, appointments done, watches paid for if we're paying you for a watch. Everything's going to continue as normal. The only thing is I'm not going to physically be here, and I'm going to very much limit my time of work to sometime in the morning and sometime in the evening. So do continue to email, get in contact, do all the things you normally would. When it comes to phone calls, the phone calls will route to the office phone, so it will be here and Danny will be able to answer. And I will not be taking any business calls. So if you do call me, I will apologise straight away and say if you can email, I will get back to you, because I really want this little break with my family, the first little break I'm having with my daughter. So I'm sure you guys and girls will respect that and appreciate that. So I do thank you in advance. But that's all rambling out the way. Let's get on with what you're here to see, which is the watches, and we're going to start with obviously my favorite. It's a birth year for me, so the watch is as old as me, and it just looks so damn good. This is the epitome for me. Let's take a look at the Patek 5039J. Okay, what a watch to start this week's episode with. This is the Patek Philippe Perpetual Calendar 5039J in yellow gold. What a incredible watch, and obviously complicated. Perpetual includes a leap year, which is probably one of the most complicated movements that can be made, and Patek Philippe obviously are the king of complication in my opinion. Interestingly, Luxury Bazaar, for those of you who watch YouTube, you'll know Roman Shaft. They just did a video talking about recession-proof watches, which is a very interesting subject in general. I probably wouldn't delve into that myself, but they interestingly had a 5039 in white gold with the black dial on the show, and I would have to say, this watch has been a steady grower year on year. With this recent craze of the watch market where things have gone up, 80, 100, 120% in short amount of time, and have also therefore come down a similar percentage. This watch has not been affected, and many watches are like this because they have gone up very small amounts each year, and it's been consistent. It's safe. So if you are looking from that perspective, not that I like to talk about that often, this would be a very good bet. But from a collector's perspective, this is incredible. So the 5039J, yellow gold in fantastic condition. just look at this, and you have the solid gold case back. Often these are with the exhibition case backs. You could request a solid case back from Patek. So again, this one is 1997. April 1997 to be exact, and this comes with its box and paperwork. Now, the box is a later Patek box. Unfortunately, the original was lost over the years, and this was from one owner. So one gentleman owned this from new and had it serviced at Patek at 3 occasions throughout the life of the watch. And the final full service with Patek was done in 2019 and went back in 2020 for what I believe to be a regulation. The paperwork doesn't really say exactly what it went back for, but it went under warranty for some extra work. And unfortunately, that gentleman passed away during that final time at Patek. So he never got to get the watch, and the son, when the watch came back, decided to sell it on. And we have taken it from the person who got it from the son. So when I say one owner, this watch hasn't been worn by anyone else as far as we're aware, other than the original owner, which I think is incredible. It is paired on a relatively new Patek strap, probably worn a handful of times, and it is a shorter length strap with its original Patek Philippe buckle as well. And inside this is where it gets even better, is a automatic Patek Philippe caliber 240Q, which is a very reliable automatic movement as opposed to manually wound. It doesn't get much better than this. But again, the quality of this timepiece for under £40,000 with all of the extra documents, as I say, it doesn't get any better. So if you're 1997, maybe a birth year, if you're an absolute baller at 25 and want to have something that really shows you know about watches and you're not just buying an expensive watch, this is the watch for you. But they're shown on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we are, gently fastened to my 7-inch wrist. I've put it on a bit on the tighter side. You can see 3 holes in, so that gives you an idea of how long this strap will fit. But the great thing is you could certainly go and get a different strap. This is beautiful. So what you're looking at right here is 35mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, only 8mm thick and 19mm on the lugs, and you have obviously the recesses in the case to push to advance certain things. Again, everything is stated on the website under the watch to really go through what each one does and to make sure you don't overshoot, because on a Perpetual calendar you don't want to be doing that. So go check it out on the website and see the photos. We are waiting for the box and the pusher. We've taken in a load of watches from one collector. He bought the watches and the paperwork and is going to ship us the boxes. We have seen the boxes, we know they exist, so rest assured you will be getting it. Hopefully they are here by the time this video goes out, so on the website you'll go over and you'll see the box shot. If not, we'll put the box shot up as soon as we get it, but rest assured it will be passed on to you if you purchase it before it arrives to us. But go check it out on the website today. From a absolute classic Patek, which is massively undervalued when you consider what you're getting, to something that's really cool, very modern, very contemporary with the Chopard. This is the LUC Chopard, or the Chopard LUC GMT One in 18 karat rose gold, a beast of a watch. Let's take a closer look. So next up, this incredible 18 karat pink gold Chopard LUC GMT One, as I say, in 18 karat pink gold, and this one is from July 2021 with its full box and paperwork. Again, same as the Patek, we are waiting on the box. We have seen it, it will be delivered, so rest assured you will either get it when you buy the watch or it will be passed on once we finally get it, no later than sort of mid next week at the latest. So when you're watching this, by Wednesday we will have all the boxes. So yeah, really gorgeous. The condition of this one is fantastic. It is worn, but it has been very lightly worn. I don't think it's really been worn much at all. The strap is very evident of this. Really beautiful exhibition caseback showing the automatic LUC caliber 1.10-L. You can see beautifully finished. And just an elegant looking watch. Obviously 18 karat pink gold. I'm a big fan of pink or rose gold, whatever you want to call it, and compared against this or contrasted against this beautiful tone of dial, it does stand out. Now the top crown is for using the watch, so winding, setting, everything like that, and the bottom crown, when you pull it out, is for jumping the inner rotating bezel to track 2 time zones, and it jumps 1 number at a time, as you can see, and it has a very distinct click over, so you know you are doing it. But a very, very cool and quirky little feature. Let's put it back all the way to 24, keep it aesthetically pleasing, so there you go. But a really gorgeous watch, paired on its original strap with its original LUC signed 18 karat rose gold buckle. As I say, July 2021. You really can't go wrong with something like this. I think if you're after a larger size, because it is 42mm, but we'll talk about the dimensions in a second. If you're after a solid gold GMT, something that stands out, and at this kind of price point, I think it's around the same sort of price, if not cheaper than a Pepsi GMT or a Batman GMT. For me, like, yes, the Rolex GMTs are fantastic. They're really great watches. But something like this just feels it a bit more special. And the great thing is, I actually think, despite this being rose gold, I think this is more under the radar than that Rolex. Everyone knows what it looks like. Whereas this, you kind of got to be in the know. Does it look like an expensive watch? Absolutely, of course it does. But you have to be in the know. So yeah, they're shown on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go. On my 7-inch wrist, you can see it is a big watch, but it wears incredibly well. So this is 42mm by 50mm lug to lug, only 11.5mm thick, and 20mm lugs. So endless options on that lug length if you want to swap this strap out for something maybe a bit more casual, a brown suede or something. But this is a very nice, thick, padded alligator from Chopard. So go check this watch out on the website today. From there, let's switch it up to Amiga with a Speedmaster that I have fallen in love with. I've seen this in photos before, but I'd never actually experienced the watch in person, and my God, is it incredible. This is the Speedmaster Apollo 11 45th anniversary, limited edition, titanium Sedna gold, all the bells and whistles. Let's take a closer look. So Speedmaster time with the Apollo 11 45th anniversary, with this awesome titanium case, Sedna gold on the bezel, and that really attractive sort of coffee, chocolatey brown, grey dial. I don't even know what colour that is, but it contrasts so well against the Sedna gold used on the hands and the indices. It looks fantastic. Obviously Amiga signed crown, nice professional case back with the limited edition number. Sorry, my thought process is losing me there. A long reference to this one, I won't bore you with it, but as I say, Apollo 11 45th anniversary, and this one's from November 2014 with its box and papers, its original NATO strap. We have it paired on this really nice sub-dial strap, which suits the watch perfectly. We actually had this come in on a different watch quite a while ago, many months ago, and it's been sat waiting for a watch, and I think it looks so bloody good on this one. So yeah, that's what we paired it on. But a great watch, and I think, as I've said before, Speedmasters, there are so many of them, so many limited editions, so many options, that it can be very overwhelming when you're looking. So I say go with what you like. If you find something that really speaks to you, jump on it. And the great thing about this one is, from the age this is from, 2014, you know, 8 years ago, it's kind of amazing that the limited edition back then, and most people don't know about it. Most people have never heard or even seen this watch. When we post it on our Instagram, the amount of people that said, what reference is this? I've never seen it before. It's kind of amazing. So it makes you wonder how many sort of hidden gems are out there that we're yet to get our hands on, even though, you know, there was nearly 2,000 of these made. Really cool. The first one I've ever seen in the flesh. But they're shown on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go. On my 7-inch wrist, it just looks at home. Obviously, classic Speedmaster proportions. I forgot to say, but inside this is the manually wound Amiga caliber 1861, as you'd expect. But what you're looking at here is 42mm by 47 or 48mm lug to lug, 13.5mm thick, and 20mm lug. So endless options. As I say, it does come with its original NATO. It is in sort of worn condition, and it's a bit old. You know, being 8 years old, probably a bit older considering when the watch came out. But yeah, really cool. Go check it out on the website today. From those incredible watches, let's go over to Rolex, and we're going to start with a classic 41mm Datejust blue on the Oyster with the smooth bezel. Really great watch. Let's take a closer look. Next up, the 126-300 in blue. This is the classic 41mm Rolex Datejust blue dial, smooth bezel, Oyster bracelet. Really great looking watch. This one is from August 2017, and we have had the watch polished, and it looks fantastic. So like new again. Obviously, you will still get a couple of marks here and there, because at the end of the day, when we take it to a polisher, we use a polisher that's very good, but doesn't go too hard on the watch to get rid of every single little detail, because at the end of the day, there might be a slightly deeper scratch on one lug, and if you really go to town on that lug, it's going to be very evident. So we would rather it done nicely and true to the finishing, rather than trying to make it look like there is not a single mark on it. That's our preference. But a really good looking watch. Obviously inside this is the automatic Rolex caliber 3235. As I say, August 2017, box and paperwork, all links included, and as I say, fresh from a polish and looking damn good. You can't really go wrong with these watches. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you are a classical Rolex person who likes the older 36mm, don't instantly disregard this, because I certainly did early days. And I have to say, this wears so well. Whilst I am definitely a vintage guy and the 36mm will always be my go-to, this surprised me by how well it actually wears, how good it looks on wrist. And just how, I mean, Rolex it is, right? Rolex know what they're doing when it comes to sizes and sort of dials and everything. They know what they're doing. But let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. I mean, yes, the 36mm is more classic, whereas this is certainly more modern and it doesn't look out of place at all. So what you're looking at is 41mm by 47mm lug to lug, 11.5mm thick and 20mm lugs. Endless options on straps, but to be honest, on the bracelet, it looks at home. So go check out this one on the website today. From there to something for the ladies, and I'm excited to bring this one. We've been working on it for a little while. It needed some bracelet work, it needed a polish, it needed a service, it needed quite a few things, but we've got it to a point where this watch can live a life again, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, a lot of people would have seen this watch in its previous state and said it was just worth its weight in gold, which would have been a huge shame for such a beautiful watch. Whereas we've put in the time, the money and the effort to bring it back to life so it can continue to have a life, continue to be enjoyed. Let's take a closer look at this ladies 18 karat gold Yacht-Master with a factory mother of pearl diamond and sapphire dial. Really gorgeous. So one for the ladies, and with Christmas coming up, here is the perfect treat for yourself, or if you have a very special lady in your life, maybe this is the one for Christmas. But a gorgeous watch, and as I mentioned in the intro, this watch has had a bit of a life. Circa 1996, with its box, no original paperwork unfortunately, and it comes from someone who's owned it for a very long time, and she wore it with all the links included. So it was like a bracelet on her wrist, and she actually wore it every single day. So what happens when you wear a watch not fitted to your wrist, these links move about, and as you can see, there's definitely still movement in the links, but believe me, nowhere near as bad as it was. And with gold, because gold is soft, it wears down. Each knock wears it down more and more and more, and over the course of about 10 years, if you wear it loose like a bangle, you're going to have gold going. And this end link was holding on by probably about a millimeter of gold. I'm not exaggerating. And the links were all looking very, very bad, and the pins in the bracelet, not good at all. And the very crazy thing is, this lady, I'm sure she won't mind me saying, wore it like that and actually had to have a whole new Rolex bracelet at one point in the past, and has then continued to do it. So unfortunately, when it finally came to us and she wanted to sell, the bracelet looked how it did before she had a whole new bracelet fitted. So rather than going through that process of getting a new Rolex bracelet, because you are talking an absolute fortune, probably half the price of the watch, if not a bit more from retail, we decided we would work with a couple of jewelers and people we know, experts at these kind of things, to have the bracelet repaired and basically rebuilt. So what they did is they added a load of gold and refinished the bracelet. Now it is very, very well done. Yes, there are a couple of points where it is tighter than we'd like it to be because of this, but you know what? It gives life to the bracelet again, and we are happy about that. So we had the watch polished as well, so it looks nice and good. The finishing put back on the bezel, but the main thing is, and the highlight of the show, is that dial. What you're looking at right there is the factory original mother of pearl dial with diamond and blue sapphire indices. Really gorgeous. This is the reference 69628, and inside is the automatic Rolex caliber 2135, and as I say, circa 1996 with its original box, which is the nice Rolex red box. And as we open the clasp, you can see underneath the plain case back as normal, and all this has been repinned as well, so it's nice and secure. Now, because she wore it with all the links, at least all the links are present, and it fits just about my 7-inch wrist. So to give you a point of reference, you can see fitted on my wrist right here, There is the watch. So what you're looking at here is 29mm by 34mm lug to lug, 11mm thick and 14mm lugs. I think that suits me pretty well. What do you think? But a cool looking watch, and one I'm happy we brought life back to. Again, if you had seen the condition before, I don't think I have any photos, unfortunately, but yeah, again, most watch dealers would have probably bought it at scrap value and sold the bracelet and put the watch on a leather strap. Again, that option's still there if you want to go down that route, but I like to be able to try and save the watches if we can, and we managed to do that with this watch, so I'm very happy and proud that we did that. So go check this watch out on the website today. From there, let's go over to one of my favourite Bremonts, if not my favourite Bremont of the bunch. This is the Alt-1C Blue. I think this is just, it's fantastic. As far as Bremonts go, I think it's brilliant. And the price, never buy, and I've said this before, don't buy a Bremont at retail. Buy them pre-owned where you can, because they do take a big hit when it comes to secondary market. So if you buy pre-owned, someone else has already taken that hit for you, which is perfect. So let's take a closer look at this watch. So it is Bremont time with the Bremont Alt-1C in blue with the brushed finish case. I love this watch. This, as I said, is one of my favorite Bremonts. I'm not a huge fan of most Bremonts, I'll be completely honest with you. A lot of you guys and girls know this. And I try and hold judgment until I see a watch in person. So I've been asked a lot about what I think of the new Bremont, the integrated bracelet design. From photos, I really dislike it. But again, I'm trying to hold out too much judgment until I see it in person, because there's been releases that I've loved based on photos and really disliked in person, and vice versa. So I'm not going to say any more on that. But this is the Alt-1C Blue, and inside is the automatic 13.25 BE50AE, a very long name. It's basically a highly modified Valjoux 7750 in there, and it is on its original strap, which has been very worn. However, there is a brown strap included, which looks fantastic on the watch. The brown strap isn't a Bremont strap, just to keep that in mind, but you have obviously original crown, pushers, all that good stuff. And it's running beautifully as well. August 2018 with its box and paperwork. Interestingly, it also features a couple of photos. The watch was worn in an aeroplane. I don't know who this gentleman is. I don't know if it actually went up in the aeroplane or if it was just a photo. I don't know, unfortunately, but it's in there, so it's kind of cool that it's got some random history with it. Maybe one day this person will turn out to be someone important that we just don't know of yet. And yeah, it'll have a story attached to it. Pretty cool. But let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. You can see it is a big watch, but it wears relatively well. What you're looking at is 42.5mm by 49mm lug to lug, 16mm thick and 22mm lugs with the curved spring bar and the curved end, so do keep that in mind. But a good looking watch nonetheless. So go check this one out on the website today and pick yourself up a bargain. From there, let's go over to the Amiga Seamaster midsize, a surprising watch, one I absolutely love, and I think it just looks so incredible. Let's take a closer look. Amiga Seamaster time with the midsize. So this is a watch I have known about and seen many times, but never really gave the time of day on the wrist. I always thought it'd be too small for me. So I like smaller watches. I wear a lot of smaller watches, but I've always found smaller divers, they wear much smaller than their dimensions lead you to believe, because the dial is much smaller, because you have the bezel and everything else. So for me, I've always thought this is too small, but I had this watch before and actually gave it a good, couple of days on wrist. I'm amazed. It wears so well, and it actually, in my opinion, looks better than the full-size 40mm of this same reference, which I know might sound like a strange thing to say, but I really do prefer it, especially because I'm not a huge fan of the helium escape valve being a screw crown personally, so when it's in a smaller case, it just feels less obtrusive. I don't know if that is actually how it is, but it appears that way for me. The reference to this one is the 2551.80.00, and inside is the automatic Amiga caliber 1109, and this one is circa 1990s. These are scrambled serial, so you can't really get the exact age, unfortunately, but circa 1990s is where it's at. You've got those beautiful loomed indices, the wave dial and the loomed hands. It all looks so nice. The bezel has got a little bit of wear here and there, but very minor, and it just works so well. Really good looking watch. We did have all the pins and tubes, because these are push pins and tubes in here, and they often over time, especially after 15-20 years, they get very loose. This is pretty damn good. So we had all of them repinned and redone, which wasn't cheap, but it was very much worth it. Obviously you have your dive extension as well, which clips in and away like so. Normal push pin, push release clasp just a good looking watch. One thing I do want to say is with this, because of the crown stem, when you unscrew the crown, if you just start winding, you're going to screw back down. So what you do once the crown is unscrewed and you want to wind the watch, just go forward and backwards in the same motion. As you can see I'm doing there, I'm not continuing to go forward, I'm going forward and backwards. And then as normal, when you unscrew to do everything else, it works as normal. And then just screw down the crown and you're locked back in. So hopefully that explains that. But let's show on wrist and torque dimensions. And here we go. So the watch fits up to about a 7-inch wrist, as you can see, fits me comfortably. What you're looking at here in terms of dimensions is 36mm by 42.5mm lug to lug, 11mm thick and 18mm on the lugs. So endless options on this one, although it does look at home on the bracelet, but a nice blue suede really does look good on this watch. So go check it out on the website today. From there to a watch, I suspect won't hang around long. It's one of those watches, you've got to be a proper collector to appreciate this, but it's truly spectacular. This is a gorgeous Universal Geneve with an integrated bracelet. It's original integrated bracelet, and I'll show you how it all works as well, and it's manually wound. Really beautiful. Let's take a closer look. So next up, a Universal Geneve, absolutely gorgeous, circa 1967, with this clean two-hand aesthetic and this square case, integrated mesh style Milanese bracelet, whatever you want to call it, which comes straight off the case and flows, and it's a very interesting design. So it is a original Universal Geneve bracelet, as you can see, and when you lift up this side like so, you can do it with your nail or a tool, you can slide up to get the perfect fit. So as you slide along, you then clip down. On the underside you'll see little grooves, so you can make sure it fits in, but you'll feel it. And then on the release, you can see you have these teeth. It's like a seatbelt, so it clips in. I'm doing this through a camera screen, so you'll have to forgive me. So it clips in, and then it's in, and you press the 2 buttons to release. As simple as that, and really, really good design. It just looks great, and the fact it's original as well is very nice. Inside here you have a manually wound Universal Geneve caliber 2-42, as I say, circa 1967. The reference is 842006. A good looking watch, and one I don't think will last. It's been kept in great condition and it's working beautifully. Original Universal Geneve crown as well, but let's show it on wrist and torque dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, a little bit loose for how I'd wear it, and there is still a lot more room on the strap to go larger and shorter, so you can really get a good fit. What you're looking at here is 30mm by 28.5mm lug to lug, 5.5mm thick, so incredibly thin, and 20mm, which tapers down to the clasp, and looks fantastic. So don't be put off by the dimensions if you see this. These kind of cases and the integrated bracelet design, it works incredibly well. So go check this one out on the website today. Next up, Seiko SKX, or 5KX as it's called, with the green dial and the gold, the Seiko Hawk, whatever you want to call it. This was one of my wife's watches, one that's hit the block to make way for a Black Bay Blue. You really can't go wrong with this watch. My wife loved it. I think it's brilliant. I've definitely wore it a couple of times myself as well. So let's have a look at this one. Okay, so next up is this awesome watch. This is the SPD63K1, which is the green 5KX as they call it, Seiko sports watch, with the gilt or gold tone on the inside of the dial, which contrasts so well against the green. You don't have a screw down crown on these models, something to keep in mind. And as I said, this one is April 2022, so only bought this year, owned by my wife, and inside is the automatic Seiko caliber 4R36, which is a very reliable hacking hand winding movement. Day date obviously featured there. Full bracelet, it does come with everything, it's box papers, all of the good stuff. You really can't go wrong with this watch. At retail it is an incredible deal, so when it becomes pre-owned like this, it's just silly how cheap they get. So I would highly recommend picking this up if you're after a great runaround watch, a watch you can wear, enjoy, not have to worry about. Or with Christmas coming up, this is a perfect gift to get someone into watches. You know, it sort of does everything you'd want it to do, and you can see the movement, which is what's going to get people really drawn in. So let's show it on wrist and torque dimension. Okay, and here we go on my 7-inch wrist. It is a big watch, but it wears incredibly well, as all Seikos do. You're looking at 42.5mm by 46mm lug to lug, so nice and compact on that lug to lug length. 13mm thick and 22mm lug, so endless options on straps. If you wanted to swap this out, you have got drilled holes for the lugs to swap out nice and easy. But yeah, go check this one out on the website today. And last but by no means least, a watch that I have zero clue how to actually use. We have a description of how to use it on the website, and interestingly, it comes with its original instruction little booklet as well from the 70s. So if you want to keep track of the tides via the watch, you can do so with this watch. That's about all you can do. So let's take a closer look. And last but certainly not least is the Chrono Marine Tide Watch. Now, I wasn't joking when I said this watch is literally to tell the tide. So as I say, I don't really know how to set and tell the tide. I don't really get it, but everything is on the website and it comes with its original instruction manual. It's pretty much new old stock condition. You're looking at a plastic case, a sort of plastic style strap, original strap and buckle as well. It's in great condition, and inside is a manually wound caliber. And as you pull out the crown and you set, it goes around sort of like an hour hand. I think it might be an hour hand, to be honest. So maybe you can use it to tell the time, you know, like those single hour watches. You get like a rough idea, like maybe that's half 5. Oh wait, no, hold on, everything's backwards. I don't really know. let me leave that there rather than pretending like this can work a certain way. I have no idea. But it's a cool watch, and again, this is the kind of watch you don't buy because you actually want to tell the tide. I don't think anyway. I mean, you can tell the tide via apps now, or just by searching on Google, I believe. So, and that'll be far more accurate than this will, because this is an estimation based on ideal conditions, I believe. Whereas, you know, that's not how life works. So the purpose of this watch is more of a collector's piece. This is from a time where watches really were a tool, like it was used for a purpose, and this was exactly that. It had a purpose at the time, which I find fascinating. So it really is a collector's piece in that regard. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimension. So here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This is a cool looking watch. If only it told the time. But this is 37.5mm by 45mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 18mm on the lugs, which flares out and comes down to the taper of the clasp. But yeah, a cool watch. Again, I just think it's a lot of fun for the collectors out there who want a piece of like watch history in terms of what watchmaking was able to achieve. This ticks that box. So go check it out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. This week's drop, one of our most varied, I really believe so, from a couple of solid gold watches with an incredible Perpetual calendar, Patek Philippe, something that's going to go down in sort of the history books for Kibble watches, not because of the value, not because of how expensive it is, because it's certainly not the most expensive watch we've sold, but it is one of my favorites that I think we've had come through the doors in terms of the higher echelon of watches. And then to pair in the same drop a Seiko Diver 5KX, whatever it's called, a vintage Universal Geneve, a watch that only tells the tide. I mean, what an incredible sort of thing to be able to do. And this is something I only dreamt of 5-6 years ago when really starting to take this seriously. You know, imagining a tray like this that we could provide in one place. Because at the end of the day, I've said it before, I'll say it again, collectors don't usually just collect one brand or one genre of watch or one thing. Yes, there certainly are collectors like that. We know many of you guys who do that, which is amazing. But for the most part, collectors will have a variety. And I think your watch dealer, the place you go, you should be able to get that variety. You should be able to sit down and talk passionately about a Perpetual calendar Patek Philippe. At the same time, talk the same passion with a vintage Universal Geneve or a modern day Seiko. I think that is the beauty of what we're able or have been able to achieve here at Kibble Watches, and none of that would have been possible without you guys and girls. So I do really want to say thank you so much for making this a reality and proving pretty much every single watch dealer wrong, because when I started, they all told me this would never work and that I should probably move into something else a bit quicker. So yeah, we won. But go check these out on the website today, and we'll see you all again next week. Take care.